should be alive. Speaking of live, what are your short and long term plans for your future? Have you thought about that? I'm not giving advice here, and that's not what this live stream is about. It's just a, was that a rhetorical question? It's not really a question, but it's a question for you to ask yourself. What are your plans for the future? You know, I got something today, which is flowers. Yeah, I kind of like flowers. They're pretty. How you doing, pork chop? But it kind of tied in with this live stream tonight without thinking about it. But on the way home, I thought about that. And I thought, my plan is to get these flowers to grow, nurture them, and get them to grow. And a lot of things in life, that's what we got to do. And the gig work is fine, especially if you're retired or something like that, or you have another full time job and this is secondary. That's great. But I just don't think that these gig apps is something for a long term future plan. You really ought to have something in mind. And like with me, at my age, I've got a few more years before I can get Social Security. Okay. So I can't officially retire for a few more years. But I do have a plan on doing that. And it's close enough to where it's kind of long term, but it's not like long term for like you folks that are in your 20s and 30s and 40s or early 40s, you know, younger than me. If you're getting closer to retirement age like myself, it's not as major of a deal, but it's still pretty serious. And you really ought to think about what's going to, how you doing, T. Ron? Yeah, you're absolutely right. That time will fly. You know, my parents growing up, my parents told me, enjoy your youth because it's going to fly by. And I think, yeah, right, or whatever. And one day I woke up and I was 30. What happened? And 30 just seems like a few years ago. Now I'm knocking on doubling that, getting close. I still like a couple more years, but getting close. Um, but you need to think about your future. And what if, and I'd mentioned this before because I delivered from Bite Squad, which was ASAP after they changed their name. And it was something else. Can't remember. But Bite Squad is the main thing that was here. But they had little sister companies. And they didn't go out of business, but they pulled out of this market. Now, if you live in a big city, I mean, like Houston or Chicago or New York or something, you probably don't have to worry about DoorDash or Uber Eats, something like that, pulling out. But if you live in a town my size that's 100,000 or so, or a smaller town, best not to be depending on DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever. They may not go out of business, and I don't foresee that happening in the near future, but they could definitely pull out of your market. That's why you need to work on your future. Have something. This job gives you the opportunity to have the time that it takes to get something else going. And I know I've talked about this for a long time, and then even Pedro started talking about it, and everybody talks about it. But the important thing is you got to do it. You can talk all day long, and if you're not listening, it's worthless. I used to have a bad habit of when I would get onto my kids, I would talk to them and talk to them and talk to them. And finally, um, my daughter told me, Dad, uh, after you talk for a few minutes, we don't hear you anymore. And it made me realize, it kind of aggravated me at the moment, but it made me realize that you have about 30 seconds to make your point. And after that, you're just, excuse the French, but pissing in the wind. But so don't lecture yourself about doing stuff that you know, don't think about doing stuff. Do it because you got a whole future ahead of you. You know, if you're watching this and you still got a future ahead of you, I don't care how old you are. I was looking at my phone. It went off. I'm stuttering. I really don't stutter, but no. My mom sent a picture of my grandson. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Oh, there he is. He 6 years old. My son had actually already sent it to me earlier, but I got him a rock. We call it a rock tumbler. I actually did a video on that, and I sent it up there. They live up in Utah where there's really pretty rocks, but I thought he would enjoy that. But seriously, I know most of everybody that watches my channel and listens to me, they've already got their life in order, and they've got income coming in, and they got things they're working on. But if there's somebody that's in your life that really doesn't have a plan, you might just mention it to them. And like I said, you can't lecture them on it. If you got kids or grandkids or even yourself, you can't lecture them or yourself over and over and over. But seriously need to consider doing something. So anyway, that was pretty much all I had for the night. I didn't put it over on the phone. Since that picture showed up, it might show up on here because I did a screenshot of a. There we go. On the how I was talking a while back on the liquor screenshots. Let's see if we can get that. Yeah, there it is. Driver's license, passport, and state ID. That's what comes up on, and then your next screen. If you can see that, I should have put it on the computer so I could have just showed y'all. But anyway, you got to enter their select the type of identification. You got to put all that in unless it scans. But that's picking that ID out still pops up even if it will scan. It's just added a pain. This delivery contains alcoholic items. Yeah. But anyway, for real, think about your future. You know, I'm doing the reviews thing, Amazon stuff, and that could come to an end. But if you have enough little things that you got going on, even if you like doing garage sales, my mom's got a neighbor. I think they have a garage. I think the city of Wichita Falls allows you to have like 6 or 8 garage sales a year, but you can't consistently have them because then that would make it like a commercial business. But the girl next door, her other neighbor is her mother. So that one will have a garage sale one month, one will have a garage sale next month. But it's income. And that's the whole thing. Even if you like garage selling, going to flea markets and stuff like that, reselling stuff, it's not sustainable, I don't think, but I think it's good for income. And if you've got something going like that, you got something else going, then you got these gig apps. You're probably going to work harder doing all that than what you are if you had a W-2 job. But with stuff like this, you have the freedom to work when you want. If someone is looking for another gig, check out your local florist and see if you can make Mother's Day deliveries for them this year. Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, I mean, you got that. Of course, Valentine's Day is done come and gone, but you'll have before we know it, we'll have a bunch of seniors coming up. So if you're good at making flower corsages, by all means, whatever it takes, do whatever it is that and you enjoy doing. And if you can make some money at it, great. Walmart Spark is starting to pay like yeah, it really is. There was a Reddit post earlier, and the guy was actually, I imagine, I doubt I still have that open, but he was, on the Reddit, you're really not supposed to show your earnings and stuff like that and talk about money. But he was, I forgot what it was in reference to, but he had like 6 orders on there, and they was all like $10.83, and he was kind of talking about that, and I thought, I it's senseless, and I know. Well, let me back up. You have to do what makes sense to you. That's my disclaimer. But me personally, I wouldn't even put my car in drive for that amount of money because one, you got gas. Two, you got wear and tear. Three, you're taking a chance on having a wreck. Four, even if you can get that order done in an hour, it's going to affect your next hour. You know, um, sometimes you can get 2 done in an hour, but even if you get 2 of those done in an hour, which that turns out to be $20+, which is great. But eventually, people, which I don't think it's going to happen because DoorDash, people have tried to do it on DoorDash, quit delivering on certain days, like a, what you call it, strike, which somebody mentioned April 28th or 29th, talking about all Spark drivers not delivering that day. I don't know if y'all have heard anything about that. It was on Reddit, and that's worthless. I mean, you've got like the rideshare guy. He's got all those subscribers and all those people that watch, and he tried to organize, or I don't know if he organized or tried to organize it, but he was talking about, pushing it for the DoorDash strike. And if that big of a channel with that much influence can't even make a drop in the bucket, what does a few people on Reddit think they're going to do? It's worthless. The only thing you can do is on an individual basis, just pick and choose, and don't take what doesn't make sense. I mean, it's really simple. If you get an order, whatever that order is, just consider that your pay for the day or pay for the hour. That's the way I look at it. Now, I know you can get 2 orders in an hour sometimes, but the majority of the time, that's not going to happen, but it can, and it does. I've done it. I've gotten 3 in 1 hour, but it's messed up my next hour for the round robins. So technically, you only got 2 because that third one you got done within the hour, and nowadays you have to be back in the parking lot here. I don't know about where y'all are at, but here you pretty much got to be in the parking lot unless it's really, really busy or stormy weather because nobody wants to deliver in stormy weather. But it kind of messes up that next hour if you're not in the parking lot. Here we go. What time do they turn Spark on in the mornings? My store said the first curbside is at 7:45 orders. I thought I saw the button on earlier this morning. If so, I think I do. What I mean, you can look. Let's see, Spark now. Oh no, yeah, it doesn't show, does it? I think it is. I think you can turn it on at 7 a.m. for the 7:45 deliveries. I think. I'm usually not up that early. I'll admit it. I'm usually not up that early. So I don't know. Every time I've tried to get up and do early shift doing Spark, it the only successful thing I have is a trip to the donut shop because it just never really pays. And it's gotten back to where you know, after lunch, 1, 2 o'clock, then it starts picking up. About 3 o'clock, it really starts rolling until about 8 o'clock. That's here in my market. Every market's different. We all know that. Everybody says it. I do 5 orders and go. 5 orders in a day or 5 orders for the day? Oh, you do 5 orders and go home. I got to. I'm trying AT&T out. We're on. Not everywhere it has US Cellular, but I was going to try AT&T out because you can try them. You can use them for 30. There's no contract, so I did for 30 days. I thought maybe the little wheel turning. It was ridiculous yesterday. Did y'all have that issue where y'all are at? Trips completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I did 5 too. I did 5 and I went home too. 4 of the 5 were shopping orders though, with really good tips for around here. The drawback is when the tips stay. I don't know, but they, shopping orders most of the time have a good enough base pay. They'll have, of course, I've saw a couple a day that was like a $9 or $10 base pay. I can't remember, which is awful. But most of them are about $18 to $20, and that's not bad because you can do a shopping order from the time you get it, the time you shop it, the time you get it to them, and by the time you get back, you can do it usually within an hour. So that's all right. I'm tired of people after driving Uber. Yeah. Well, if you're doing rideshare, it takes a special person, and kudos to you and whoever else does it. It's kind of like working at the state hospital. You have to just smile and just let them talk. Because a lot of people, that's all they want to do. They just want somebody to listen to. That's the same thing with rideshare. If they want to talk, some people don't want. I gave a couple of rides, people didn't want to talk, which I'm good with that. And it's better for me because I'm about half hard of hearing anyway. Actually, 75% according to my hearing test. But I've been sneaking a few fries here and there. I don't know. I personally wouldn't touch the food. I mean, if something fell out, I always wanted to take a bite out of the donuts. Yeah, well, tell you what, some of that food when you deliver it, some of it really stinks, and some of it really smells good. And if you haven't ate, it's sure tempting. The rainy days bring income for the Uber X. It brings it for Spark too. The only reason why I quit doing Uber X or the rideshare is because, like I was saying earlier, Bite Squad pulled out of the Wichita Falls market, which Bite Squad did the Air Force Base deliveries, and that's who I had my ID with, and I could do rideshare because I had a base ID to get on the base to pick them up. And now if I do it, the instructions say meet them at the gate, but they always call you and say, do you have base access? Because we're at the dorms, and the dorms are about a mile, roughly a mile away from the gate. So that's quite a walk. You know, they're in the military. That ought to be nothing. But they're getting spiffied up to go to town. So that's kind of why I quit doing it, because most of the Uber order or Uber rideshare here is from the military base on the weekends. I fill up my tank with 5 each day and make 50. I know my area. That's good. I don't think I could make a day in 5. The car I have now, it gets about 19 miles a gallon. My Infiniti 15 and a half. So this one don't have the power the Infiniti did, but it gets better gas mileage. I very seldom get to shop and deliver. I guess my store has enough pickers. Well, a lot of the express orders is switching to, maybe it hasn't done it completely down there, but a lot of them have switched. Ours have increased the shopping orders. Um, I just hope they don't turn out to be like the Pizza Hut delivery for on DoorDash, because most of those are just from the orders that the Pizza Hut drivers don't want to take because they don't pay it, and they know they're not going to get a tip, and that's why they pass them off on DoorDash. That I do not know for fact. I just know somebody that delivers for Pizza Hut, and that's what I was told. Take that with a grain of salt. Would you drive? Wait. Very soon get try. Would you drive in Mexico? Yeah, I would. I would be extremely careful because you can get in a lot of trouble really easy. But the only places in Mexico I've been is Cozumel and Progreso down there when I went on a cruise. I haven't been to like Mexico City and places like that. And from what I hear, right now is not a good time to even be close to that border. There's been a lot of kidnappings and stuff going on. So if y'all got something planned, even in not Padre, Cozumel's on the Gulf side, uh, Puerto Vallarta. They're recommending nobody go to Puerto Vallarta, is the last I heard, because there have been some kidnappings going on from U.S. citizens. Some days I want to shoot my gun in there after a shift. Yeah, I feel you. I'll take a pepperoni. It won't be missed. I'd take the whole pizza. No, I really wouldn't. But DoorDash scheduled 17 thing. This is let me. It's hard to get scheduled on. I was supposed to be DoorDash. Oh, that's tomorrow night. Last week I found one shift open on Friday night, and I scheduled Friday at 5 to 7, which is prime time. So I went ahead and took it. If Spark is busy, I'll just not worry about DoorDash. I really don't care about DoorDash, but you can make some decent money if it's really busy. Of course, you drive a lot of miles, but man gave a tip because I have dreams. Man gave a tip because I have dreams. Okay. It's raining heavy here. Where are you at? Oh, you must be up north. I haven't looked at the radar. There was some storms that kind of developed west of Wichita Falls and moved north up towards Oklahoma City and probably on over to Missouri, up in that way. Why do dogs howl at an ambulance? The sound, that high pitch. Trying to figure out the pay amounts. Are they better when it's real busy and they need orders out, or do they pay crappy when they are slow because they are not? No, the driver will not take anything. The only way the orders are going to go up is if people don't accept them, or if something an order got missed or something, and it comes up after everybody's accepted orders at the 20 after. But usually the only time orders go up is if nobody's accepting them, because what they start, proximity does matter on Walmart Spark, because they'll start the closest people, then they'll expand that out, then they expand it out further before they'll go up on that price. Once they go out, 5-10 miles, then they'll recycle it and go up $1 or 50 cents. Usually it's $1 from what I've seen. It may be different in different areas, but that's what I've seen. And I really don't know. If it's really busy, they need the orders out. Most of the time, all the orders really depend on the customers, because you're going to have your base pay, and the customer's tip is what's going to make it, whether it's good or not. And like I said, what drives the price up is if everybody rejects it or lets it time out. And that's the only way we'll ever get Spark orders and DoorDash orders and the rest of them to go back up a little bit, is if everybody just quits taking the garbage. I traveled Lyft to a porn convention. Wild rides that day, I bet. Might have been some good tips, though. Tex-Mex food burrito. Can't hardly beat that. That's my talking about Tex-Mex. Every time when I'm working and I get hungry, and when you're working, you don't have time to go to Red Lobster or Cotton Patch or whatever your longer restaurants, longer wait time restaurants, and fast food is pretty much it. But every time I get hungry, Taco Casa is my go-to. If I'm hungry and I can't figure out what I want, it's Taco Casa. Every time. For one, I like them, and for two, they're right across the street from Walmart. So, how you doing, Rodney? Hope everything is well out your way. Do you see other people your age driving? Yeah, there's a couple. Actually, more than a couple. There's probably a dozen that I see. There's probably more, but there's about a dozen that's older than me. And I know I'm not old. I'm just older. Come on now. The market is, it's oversaturated. It's just, ever since they got rid of DDI, it's gone downhill ever since. Oh, Oklahoma had a huge tornado. I did not know that. I love tornadoes and bad weather as long as it doesn't affect people. Because out here, you can have a tornado a half a mile from right here, and it ain't gonna hurt nothing. It's just cool to watch. But I don't like it when it destroys people's properties and houses and takes lives, because Moore, Oklahoma has had some bad ones, and Wichita Falls has had some bad ones back in '79. Yeah, I love storms and bad weather and like chasing storms, but I don't like seeing people get hurt. We're waiting on storms around 2 a.m. Ooh. I washed my car today, but it looked kind of cloudy here, but had 0% chance of any kind of rain, so I went ahead and washed it. I'm at the round robin order price that comes to you first. Oh, it's not going to change. It's going to be whether it's slow. From my experience, now it could be different for somebody else, but from my experience, it doesn't matter if it's busy or if it's slow. That order is going to come out at the same pay regardless. That's just been from my experience. It could be different for somebody else. Tips are appreciated. Yeah. Joe Biden approves this message. Well, never mind. I'm not going to get political. I'll just be glad when 2024 gets here. The man needs to retire. The best thing is when couples DoorDash together. I even seen kids involved. Yeah, it really is a cool thing because gives, especially if they don't get to spend much time. Because some people work full time, two full time. He works his full time, or one person works there full time, one person works there full time, and they don't get a lot of chance to, or a lot of time to spend it with each other. And you can just chit chat along the way. Take your mom. I've taken my mom. I've taken my grandson and my girlfriend. A lot of times I like to really crank up my music. Thus, why I'm 75% deaf is I listen to loud music, but I like listening to my music. And you really can't do that if somebody's with you. But sometimes spending time with somebody is a little more important than listening to that music because they're not always going to be around. And if they are, they may not always have time for you. So if they got time for you now, you better take time for them. FYI. I've been getting lots of bad orders lately on Uber. Yeah. Like I was saying a while ago, I pretty much quit turning Uber on. Even the Uber Eats, a lot of them are going to the base. And I even contacted them and I told them we cannot deliver on base. And they said they would send me some kind of form that I could take out to the base to get a temporary and all that. I haven't got anything. That's been about 2 months ago. Rodeo's almost over. Here we come. All right. I hated to leave a while ago, but nature called. I didn't do good on my makeup though, did I? Anyway, 80s and 90s here in Los Angeles, California. I think today it's right now, I don't know if that's right or not. My computer over here is saying it's 64 degrees. It could be because it dropped considerably today. Okay. My phone's showing six. Well, it's still refreshing. 60 degrees. 60 degrees today and 51 Sunday. Man, the crappie, we're starting to bite. Crappie is fish, if y'all don't know what crappie is. And they were starting to bite, but this cold weather came in and it moves them back out. How you doing, Mr. Gary? I had a guy that was asking about Maximo. I told him what I knew about it, and I told him to email you. I just gave him your main email. So hopefully he's an older guy, a little older than me. But anyway, told him to try it out. It's definitely worth trying out. If all y'all probably know about Gary's apps, but if you don't, and you do DoorDash or Uber Eats, Uber and stuff like that, check out his apps because they're very good. I need a V8. Would that be a spicy V8 with a cold one, or a V8 engine? Oh, right. Oh, Hey, the Driven Dad, how are you doing, Mr. Tony? Right here, Lisa, how are you? I guess it's jumped. I had to scroll back. Tony, I thought about you the other day because the company that I do reviews for asked me if I had a Tesla or knew somebody had a Tesla, but I told them no because I looked at some of the stuff that they had, and I don't think you would probably have been interested in it. Otherwise, I would have, said, sure, I have a Tesla and did a review on it and sent it your way. But it was like some mud flaps for a Tesla, a certain model, and I wasn't sure what model yours was. How you doing, Thomas? Need a pass to get, yeah. Well, I had one through Bite Squad, but since Bite Squad pulled out of Wichita, the last time I went out there, I was going to pick up some guys or some people that was at the dorms back there on the base, and they confiscated my ID at the gate. Which I told the people called me and asked me. I said I will try, but pretty much know that they're going to confiscate my ID, and they did. I didn't argue with them. You know, you're not going to argue with them. Never going to come out in your favor. But I think you can get a 3-day pass, or you could. I don't know. I need to try it, but as long as Spark keeps me busy enough, I'm not going to really stress too much on getting on the base. I just like the ability to go on base if I needed to. You know, if I got bored. And Saturdays and Sundays was really pretty decent on rideshare because they're all wanting to come to town. Some of them's wanting to go back to the base to get ready to come back to town. Had a couple that got my phone number and they wound up texting me when they got back on base, got ready to go out that night. Made a little extra money on that one. Oh, we jumped ship. 7 likes need more. What's happening, Grandpa? Man, everything's happening. Got to keep it rocking and rolling, y'all. Hello, the Grand Rapids, Michigan. Every time I hear Michigan, I think of Buckley, Michigan, and I think of Kid Rock. Hi, Emily. Did Emily jump on here? Did I miss her? Emily's having a bad day. She'll be home here in a little bit. Now slap that like button. Slap it real hard, y'all. We all have to. Y'all want to hear something? Well, now that I started, I'll go ahead and finish it. I had to go to the restroom today at Walmart, and apparently, both of you ladies, well, unless you clean men's bathroom, there's urinals and there's regular toilets to take care of other things. And apparently, somebody went to the bathroom and the stalls were full. So they used what you would normally use the stall for. They used the urinal. Brought this up as Emily asked me if I'd stop by to get toilet paper, and I forgot to, which we're not out. But anyway, that's beside the point. But it made me remember that. And I'm like, how gross. That pooping in a urinal. If it had been a bar, I understand you'd been drunk, but I don't know. That was too, what was that, TMI? But people need to be a little cool now. Oh yeah. Thanks, Lisa, for posting that. Yeah, y'all check that Gary's apps out. I sent that guy, told him what I knew about it, and I said if you have any further questions, ask Gary. Ask Gary. Gary knows. Brandon was talking about bases right when I logged on here. Caught the tail end. Oh, I was just talking about somebody was talking about doing Uber, and I said that I quit doing Uber because the instructions when you do the Uber here, the rideshare part of Uber, it'll say pick them up at the gate, at the main gate. But they always call you. Can you pick us up at the dorm? Do you have base access? Blah, 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 blah. And since Bite Squad moved out, I no longer have my ID. So now I can't. So now I don't even fool with it because I drive all the way out to the base and then they cancel it. And I don't blame them. I mean, they're young, in shape folks. That's an easy mile walk for them, 1.5 miles. But they're all spiffied up and wanting to go to town. They don't want to get that exercise before trying to be all fancy and pretty for all the Wichita Falls. Anyway, I just got home from doing rideshare tonight. I'll probably check back in later, but like I was saying, as long as Spark keeps going, it's nice to have that ability to get on base, but it's not a necessity, so to speak. I see 21 Washington. That's a lot. That is a lot. I see 18, but at least I'm not sitting here talking to myself, which I do plenty of that. But at least I'm conversing with y'all and not just myself. Oh, ever try yoga for a bad day? No, not intentionally anyway. Had a couple of yoga moves when I was sliding down the ice one day, going down the stairs at the state hospital too. I did some endos. That's why I'm no longer there. Well, that's why I got put on workman's comp for that. Anyway, but I always hear her in the background. Yeah, she's usually here, but her son's car broke down. She was having a bad day anyway. And then her son's car broke down. She went and got that. Emily's a mechanic. Emily can do anything, I think. If she can't, I don't tell her she can't because she'll prove you wrong. But anyway, she went to fix her son's car. Then she got it fixed and she was fixing to head home. Then it broke down again for something else. It's an older car. And so she was having to go pick them up and probably take them home. I don't know what they're doing, but sometimes a smart man just say, yes, dear, and just let it go. Don't be inquisitive. That's not a time for a man to be inquisitive when a woman's having a bad day. Yes, ma'am. Yes, dear. I'll see you when you get here. Easy peasy. Everybody's happy. Ladies poo too. Yeah, but not in urinals. That was bad. I feel bad for the person who's got to clean that up. It wouldn't flush. I mean, it's got the automatic flusher and it didn't go nowhere. Oh, a visitor pass, either do a background check or get a sponsor. Well, somebody told me that last year they did 300 sponsored passes, and you had to sign up. Maybe it wasn't 300, maybe it was 30. Anyway, X amount of passes, and I didn't need one at the time, so I didn't fool with it. I didn't ever expect Bite Squad because I did just enough Bite Squad to keep my ID good. Keep them sending me a new one every 6 months or every year? Can't remember now. But yeah, I'll probably go ahead and do that because you can DoorDash on base too. I went out there and sat a couple of times and had one order. There's a Burger King on base here. I mean, there's other restaurants within the building, but the Burger King is by itself. I did one order and sat there for 2 hours. But it's nice to have that. It's like having all these apps. I don't use these apps. The delivery apps, I don't use all of them. But it's nice to have them, and you should have them. Because you just never know. And that's kind of what I was talking about tonight. You never know what's going to happen to these apps. Like where some of you guys live, y'all live in big cities. And ladies, y'all live in big cities, so you don't have to worry about it as much. But like Wichita Falls, Bite Squad pulled out. And there was a couple of people I know, that's all they did was Bite Squad. What are they going to do? Sign up for DoorDash like everybody else. But that's what I was talking about tonight is try to have something in your mind for your future, because you can't rely on these gig apps. They're good to build up to something and have the time to do other things, but think about your future, because your future is going to be here before you know. It's like Pork Chop said, time flies. Anybody older will tell you that, and it does fly. You can be 25 one day, and all of a sudden you're 30, and then you're looking at 40 and wondering, what happened to 35, 36? It's gone. So think about your future. Urinals is way better than yeah, that's true. And I don't know. There's two bathrooms in Walmart. You'd have had to really, really, really been in a bad situation to do that. Because I don't know, unless you're tall, I'm too short. I couldn't hover a urinal. I'm sorry, I just couldn't. People are scumbags. Lots of them. Tim, you're smoking crack and Uber won't on board. Stack with a zone next to you, to it, Brandon. There's no other zones. Wichita Falls is the zone. The next closest zone is probably the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We don't have multiple zones like some of y'all do in bigger cities. You got one. That's it. Well, I take that back. With DoorDash, you have on base zone. It's a zone in itself, and then you got Wichita Falls. But that's it. Tim kind of had already brought someone to Walmart where all the restaurants are, anyways, and I showed him how the app works. Hamburgers and fries. Burgers and fries and cherry pies. It's an old song. What are your plans, Brandon? It's still not too late. No, it's not too late. And that's what I was saying is at my age, see, I do the reviews, and I got side little bit of money coming in, not much, but a little here, a little there, and it'll add up. But in a few more years, I'll have Social Security too. So my main thing is, and you're right, I'm not too old. I got to think about the future, and that's why I'm doing all this other stuff. Is because some of it is what they call passive income. I don't have to. Once I do a video review, that's it. Then I can earn commission on that. Not much, but nickels and dimes add up. It takes cents to make a dollar. Oh, really? I thought all the Walmarts. I have never, ever since there was a Walmart, I have never went out of town without going to the Walmart, wherever it is that I went. And it's not on purpose either. It just happens that way. When we was up there in Colorado, I had to go to Walmart because I had to get a temporary fishing license to do some fishing. Okay, you're in Texas. I didn't think you were in Kansas. Yeah, Wichita Falls, Texas. Not Wichita, Kansas. Wichita Falls, Texas. I've been to Wichita, Kansas. I've been to the zoo in Wichita, Kansas. Nice little zoo, but it's nice zoo. Or it used to be. That's been a long time ago. Anywhere for passengers. Jimmy Carter is 100 billion. I thought, didn't Jimmy Carter pass away? I thought I'd read or heard something about he just passed away. I don't know. We have a great zoo in St. Louis. Oh, I know. When we was up there, we was wanting to go, and I'd like to come back and do some more, and maybe even visit other places besides St. Louis. But St. Louis was cool. The Oklahoma City Zoo is the main zoo that I've always went to, and it's nice. There's a Fort Worth Zoo too, but I like the Oklahoma City Zoo out of those two. Something else that I was when I was reading Reddit earlier, and we was talking about orders and stuff earlier. I guess it's people naturally like to um, gripe and complain about orders. We're doing Spark, they gripe and complain. People shouldn't be ordering 2 and 3 cases of water when they live upstairs. You know, I'm not disagreeing with that, but and I made a comment on somebody's post about that. I said, if you know that it's upstairs, then you got nothing to gripe about. You're the one that took the order. And it's just like with DoorDash. I totally get the prices of DoorDash and even some of the Spark orders now. I totally get it. But you can't gripe about something that you took. You accepted the order. If you want to gripe about all the orders are low and not your order, yeah, I get that. But people are griping about the orders they took that they should have got paid more for the order that they took. I don't understand that. I know that's way off topic, but we were talking about prices and stuff on orders earlier, and I don't know. If you're gonna gripe about something, make it worth griping about, like people's ignorance when it comes to driving. I have never in my life seen so many, and I don't know if they're everywhere. Wichita Falls has some of the not they know how to start a car and they know how to kind of steer it. They don't know how to look over. They don't know how to move over to the shoulder to make a turn. They don't know how to stop at a red light to make a right. Oh, and they don't know how to, if the cars are coming, they don't know how to move over. I got no problem with somebody driving slow. They get out of the way. The Oklahoma City Zoo is very, very nice. Yeah, it is. We used to go to the Oklahoma City Zoo and then the Kirkpatrick Center and it used to be mainly a water park right there on the highway. Now, the last time I went by there, it was mostly roller coasters and stuff. Anyway, that's the cool thing about Oklahoma City. It's all right there together. Probably within 10 miles or so. You got the Cowboy Hall of Fame, Fireman's Museum, all kinds of stuff. If you are looking for somewhere to go, Oklahoma City's pretty cool. That's the only reason why they order all that heavy stuff. They wouldn't buy all that heavy stuff if they were. You're right. And yet, the way I look at, I have a couple of customers that do live upstairs, but they ordered 1 case of water, and it's not the 40 count. They ordered the 24? Is that what the smaller one is? They'll order that, and I don't have a problem doing that because usually they don't have much other stuff, and you can carry 2 or 3 sacks and that water. Because I am badly out of shape. I didn't realize how bad a shape I was till you start going up and down stairs on deliveries. And I'm like, man, there ain't no way I could do any kind of, I couldn't do mountain climbing, but elevated hiking, I've got to get in shape. That's my future plans, is to get in shape. Man, there's way too much love. Oh, Jimmy Carter. Oh, Jimmy Carter is. I thought I read something about him passing away, or he might have just been really, really sick. I think I lost my place where I was at. 2 or 3 years really done. You live in Tulsa? Living in Tulsa time, huh? We stopped at the McDonald's there that goes over. It's a lot. When I was a kid, they've improved that building a lot. And my dad drove a truck, and we would stop there. And I mean, it would shake. Now it shakes a little bit, but not like it did back in the 70s. It really shook back then. It's cool though, especially when you're from Wichita Falls where there wasn't nothing at. Yeah, going to McDonald's that goes over the highway was a big event. That was really something. He is good eating in Oklahoma City too. Yeah, there's some good place. I have still not been down to the walkway. My son moved to Oklahoma City a couple years ago. Yeah. Norman, Moore, Oklahoma City, Dale City. It's a nice area. And it's really actually once you figure out how the highways run, it's actually an easy city to get around in. I don't have a fear of falling. I got a fear of heights. I can't even get on a regular roof. When you go to putting Christmas lights up, my stomach I got butterflies. I don't do heights. That's why I don't ride roller coasters. I don't do Ferris wheel. I don't get off the ground. I will put Christmas lights up and I will get on the roof, but I don't like to. Yeah, Reba. Yeah, she's funny. And maybe more dogs do it, but she'll go in there and get 2 or 3 pieces of dog food, and then she'll come back in here to the office and eat that, and then she'll go back in there and get 2 or 3 and eat that. Now she's looking at me. She knows we're talking about her. She's a good dog. I'm not a pet person, but Reba is an exception to the rule. She's a good dog. She doesn't bark. The only time she really gets overly excited and jumping up and down like Trigger, the horse, is when you come in and she's wanting her treat. She's got to have her treat. Grandpa, when my leg healed, I was so out of shape for sparkling. I do fine on the flat ground. I'm a flatlander, but like we have the Wichita Mountains, which is not really mountains. Y'all can look it up if you want to. It's little mountains, but there's a lot of 4 and 5 foot jumps and stuff you got to do. I used to be able to do that. There's no way I could do that now, and you'd miss so much by not being able to do that. That's why Teslas are needed. The glass houses. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's cool. It's changed up a lot over the years. It was used to you just where you can walk through and see all this stuff now. Back when I was a kid, if I'm remembering right, it was just seats. It was just where you sit down and ate. Now it's like a little museum. Pretty cool. Any word if Pedro has set a date for the gig conference yet? I haven't heard anything. Did y'all watch his video? He had a short on there. He got barred from a restaurant for videoing in there. And technically, a restaurant it's open to the public, but it is private property, so you can't video on private. You can video anything you want in the public, as long as you're in the public or a public even. You can go inside a city hall and videotape, but it has to be a public building or in the public. But I think a restaurant is considered private property, so that's and apparently they had already asked me once, but I don't see the big deal, especially for this stuff. They just had a beef with him, I guess. I don't know why, but a fair phone, yeah. Don't mind the heights as long as I don't. Well, I tell you what, I went tumbling down those stairs at the state hospital. And it's 2 stories, but it's not your typical 2 stories because it was 10 or 12 foot ceilings, I think. So, it was a long ways down. All I remember is starting to fall. Next thing I knew is I was looking up. Next thing I knew, I was trying to get on my butt so I would slide down. they said that they were surprised I didn't break my neck or something, but just banged me around some. Always say round is a shape. It's a shape. Oh, they just recently remodeled the whole place. Well, we was there last year when we went to St. Louis. Well, I don't know, Bud Soda. I mean, I agree. The public can go in there, but they have the right to refuse service. So I don't know. You know, Walmart's not public. Walmart's private property. Technically, you can't video inside Walmart, but the Walmarts I've videoed in, they don't ever say anything. I don't know. I would, you know, I think it's ridiculous to tell somebody they can't video, but whatever. I'll have to check out the vid and need to know which restaurant. I think it was a Cadobas. If I remember right, it was Cadobas, but he says it on there. You'll know exactly where it is. They pointed him out because he's a gig worker, and yeah, he said that they knew who he was. We know who you are, but he also said that the lady last week had already talked to him about not videoing in there. So I don't know. It's ridiculous though. Why you couldn't video? It's not a big deal. It's advertisement for them. You know, long term goal is to have passive income and whatever to pay travel. And you're at Alex. You're at the age you're the ideal person for this. Think about your future. You know, and you've got a good head on your shoulders. I can tell that. So, you know, work on a lot of different incomes because, like I said a while ago, it takes cents to make dollars. You know, just put the shades on the skies. Yeah, you're probably right. They probably just got mad. I don't know. Some people just want to extort their authority or whatever. Slime in the ice machine. I got banned from crab cakes and I still see it. We don't have any places like that here. I got when I was like 17, there used to be a restaurant here named Taco Mayo. And I was asked to leave and never return. Until this day, I've still not returned. I don't think we have any Taco Mayos now. But for 20, 25 years, I never went back in Taco Mayo. It wasn't any really thing that I did wrong. It's just I was dating somebody that worked there and I was going up there all the time. And then she would get mad at them and she would leave with me. And I was just asked not to ever come back in. That's the only place I ever did that. Hey, Steve, how you doing? I had to run off earlier. I'll have to go back and watch the first part of it on the replay of your live. Yeah, the Cadova has fairly new crew and seen in power control. Yeah. I figured that's probably what it is. They're just wanting to try to act all big and bad. The reason people don't like people videoing in their establishments is because of their customers and their privacy. Yeah, well, I get that. And, you know, there's a lot. I know most of y'all probably watch TikTok or the YouTube Shorts. And YouTube Shorts is what I watch. And you got a bunch of jerks on there that are, especially the ones that are going after the cops. Man, that's ridiculous. I can't wait. There's a couple of them. I can't wait till they meet a cop. And if I was a cop and I had somebody doing me the way they did, you dang well bet every time they put a foot in that street, I would get them for jaywalking. I would harass them so much. But anyway, if you're in the public, people get mad because you're videoing. But in today's times, you can do it. It's their Fourth Amendment right. First and fourth and all that. It's ridiculous. I think it ought to be a respect thing. You don't video somebody, don't want videoed, whether they're in the public or not. But you can go to the beach and video anybody, anything you want. You can't sell those pictures or videos without a model release. But for public or for nonprofit, you can video whatever you want. And I don't agree with it because a lot of times there's kids involved, and I don't think kids need to be put out there. But what I know, I'm just an old man, older man, not old man. It is 10:07, y'all. We have just rattled away. Well, the videos can also show the crew goofing off. Yeah, and that's probably the biggest thing. And I know, and maybe they've watched, but really it's not on them. You know, I think maybe they've seen some of Pedro's videos where he's showing the orders that's been sitting there. But that's not really on the restaurant. That's on DoorDash and the customers. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but you know, if a person that in management is that bad right now, and if it's like I said, if they're new, they won't last. But y'all got so many different restaurants in St. Louis, I wouldn't sweat it over one anyway. Because odds are you're not going to get that great of orders from Qdoba anyway. Not here anyway. We actually have a Qdoba's. What up, Tony? Getting sitting here today. Did you watch the hearing? Oh, somebody's got a hearing. Yeah, that's a whole. You can stir up a lot videoing people, but unfortunately, the people can't do anything about it. But if an establishment, if I'm right, and I could be wrong, if they are technically a private property, then you can bar them and you can tell them they can't video. I know the outside restaurants, if you're walking down the sidewalk videoing, if those people are in the public, they're in the public. They're going to get videoed. And there ain't nothing nobody can do. My Qdobas on post tries, they're nice. And I've brought DoorDash to the house before. Oh, on post. I don't think our base has a Qdobas on base. They've got like a golden chick, which I don't know if that's just a local thing, kind of like Chicken Express or Popeyes or the rest. They're all the same. No, I take that back. Chicken Express is good. The rest of them are all the same. But they got 4 or 5 restaurants within one building. Probably they're like that too. You get some rest. Speaking of getting rest, you know, I'd like to get some rest, but I got the pressure put on me by my suppliers to do video reviews. And I promised them that I would have them done by tomorrow evening. It's kind of getting harder to do Spark, which I got to keep doing that because that pays the bills. This is just a little extra money on the side to pay Uncle Sam. Real quick, if y'all do reviews, like just a regular Amazon review on your own, and you get sent an invitation to join Amazon buying, you can join it, but be very, very careful and don't go over that $600. What it is, you have to pay the taxes on the fair market value of the products that you got for free. Be very careful because you will get a 1099 on that and you will be paying taxes on it. And there is no kind of deductions that I was able to find or do anything. So, yeah, I'll be paying IRS for a while. Not like big money. To me, it's big money. It's $1,600. That's a lot of money, especially to give to the IRS. But it is what it is. But what I'm saying, if you do get an invitation to join the Amazon buying program, use caution when you're getting your free items. You know, it saves you a lot of money if you're really going to use them. But if you're just getting them just because, I probably wouldn't. But do what you want. Main thing is look at your future and work on your future because someday it's gonna be here. Oh, Steve got some rest. I was actually on my way to bed, but I am having to call with Karen Anderson in 20 minutes. I blacklisted Trolley's Tuesday. So I mean, make 3 steps towards them and frequently they did. Anyway, y'all, as I mentioned earlier, Miss Emily is having a bad day. So she's calling now. So I'm going to go ahead and get off here so I can call her back because she'll probably hang up before I get to finish here because y'all know I just keep rattling. Anyway, y'all keep staying busy. And thanks for coming by. Y'all keep smiling, dashing, dancing, prancing, doing whatever it is. And I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a good one. Be careful out there. And I keep saying I'm going to click on that before I say bye. So I will say bye again in broadcast.